about Highland Burton, who's a junior, and we think we can make some plays with him. We have a young man named Danny McCartney who plays safety and Z for us. Alec Brzezinski that plays Z. We really think we have some weapons, but now we kind of have to figure out a new way to get him the ball.
I know you don't want to give too much credit out, but how good is Evan Boyd?
Well, Evan Boyd carried the mail for us last week. I think he
Tell us who he is, first son of
Nate Boyd, who played at Akron,
Yeah.
and used to coach at Canfield.
Okay.
And Evan plays strong safety and linebacker for us. Does a great job there, and he is our starting tailback. And last week against Girard, I think he had about 25 carries for about 150 yards. He's a hard downhill runner, and he brings a lot of physicality to the game.
Is 25, is that an average? Or did you use him a little bit more?
No, we used him a little bit more
circumstances?
last week, and it was part of our game plan. It was also part of, trying to figure out what we're going to do in the meantime without Coates.
Are you feeling pretty good now that you got a weekend without Coates?
Well, yeah, but we have a lot of spots to fill with him now. Evan also went back and is going to be returning punts, which is a help, and kicks. So, we just have to. Everybody has to step up a little bit, and that's usually what happens in any sport. When you lose one of your players, everybody has to step up.
Was he the holder too, or something you said?
No,
or what?
Jake was also the holder. I think he sold popcorn at halftime. Yeah, but he's, he's a great kid, and we're just going to keep working until, we can get him back.
Now, how long have you been at Kennedy now?
This is my third year.
Things are going pretty good from pre-Jeff Beck over there.
Well, yeah, we had a little trouble the first year, but the kids play hard up there, and they're very disciplined, and it's fun to coach those kids. It's a great place to coach. They're all in. They come to practice. They're committed, and it took us a year to get our system in, but things are going pretty well right now.
You think back to the 90s when you had the Timmy Ryans and Andre Jethros and Tom Palucci's, and that was a pretty little powerhouse they had going there.
Yeah, they did. They had Coach Zolchak and
Yeah.
Coach Napoletti.
Yeah.
They did great jobs there, and that's a great tradition. So it's nice that we got back into the playoffs last year. I think JFK's been in the playoffs 20 times, so that's a great testament to what's going on up there.
And now, obviously, that's the goal this year again.
Obviously,
And hopefully, number
Hopefully-
44 will be there. And
that would be great. That would make all of us very happy.
well, let's shift it to just a little bit about you. I mean, you're older than I think the Sundials they were using for 40 times when you started coaching, I think. But a little bit, Kennedy's your fourth head coaching job. And
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah?
I'm kind of forgetting things here.
what made you come back? You from Hubbard, you went to Camel, and then
Yeah,
you took a break, or you were assistant.
Well, I was going to take a break, and my old head coach, Dick Engel, called me and said, you can't get out of coaching.
Well, you went to Howland.
So I went to Howland for 2 years and coached the quarterbacks and had a great time. Those kids were great.
Okay.
The coaches were great. So then I said, well, I'm going to just get out. And I got a call from a guy that I met years before at Hubbard who coached JV basketball, Steve Arnold.
Okay.
And he said, Coach, why don't you come up and I want to talk to you about offense and some of the things that we're going to try to do. And I thought I was just going up there just to talk football and like a mini clinic.
Consultation.
And the next thing I knew, he hired me as the
What
offensive
size jersey do you
coordinator.
have?
Yeah. So he's a pretty smooth talker, and we had a great year that year, and I really enjoyed working with Steve, and and then I just needed to get out and take a break, and I took a year off, and I went to watch Struthers play because my son coaches at Struthers, and my wife and I went to every game and really kind of enjoyed the season that way, but that
You
took
still
its
had the
toll
bug.
on her, so she said, you got to go back and start coaching again, So the JFK job came open, and a friend of mine that is a graduate of JFK, Frank Tempesta,
Okay.
gave me a call, and he said, why don't you come up and talk to some people? And, they were very, very gracious and very nice to me, and I just ended up there, and so I'm back in it again. I'm having a hard time quitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a retired teacher, correct?
I did retire, 2 years ago, so.
Okay. You got a nice little staff there too at Kennedy. Some of the
Yeah,
guys I know from
yeah, we
from
have
a couple of your different
We have a
stops
great,
along the way.
yeah, great staff. Well,
Rod Greenemeyer.
Rod Greenemeyer is our offensive coordinator, and he has been coaching with me since I was at Canfield, so that's a long time. Dominic Perogo actually was playing when I was coaching as an assistant at Ursuline.
Okay.
So I've known him
Wow.
since he was in high school.
Yeah.
And Brian Bochef coached our freshman and varsity at Hubbard. He's with us. And Jimmy Campana, who's a Hall of Famer at Ursuline, wide receiver and really good baseball player. He's coaching our wide receivers. And Frank O'Brien, who's a Warren guy, is coaching our defensive line. And of course, Nate Boyd coaches our linebackers.
So the staff's just got to have, you got a chemistry, and you guys seem to have that, huh?
Well, you know, when you've known people for so many years, you kind of know what they're thinking, they know what you're thinking, and it makes things a lot easier.
Great. Real quickly, season ended disappointingly last year against Mogador, correct?
Yes, it did.
Hopefully you'll be able to use that in some
Yeah.
way if you make it to week.
You know, and I know
What round was that? 12? Week 12?
that was week 13.
13.
And we really
Regional finals.
Yeah, the regional finals, and you know, it's kind of funny. I don't know that I would ever sit here and say to you, it ended in a disappointing way when we were playing in the regional finals, because that's a heck of a year.
Yeah.
You know, but when you have the aspirations and the goals to get to that big game, anything less kind of, you know, feels kind of empty. But when you look back on it, I mean, it's a great year to win 11 games and lose 2. You know, I would guess many coaches in the area would sign their names to that before the season starts.
Well, hopefully you can go maybe a little bit further
That would be
this
great.
year.
Yes.
And well, thanks, Coach. We got a guy coming up later in the show who's another one of your former players,
Mark Porter.
Scouting Ohio.
Yeah.
So Canfield.
He does a great job. Yep, I coached him at Canfield.
Yeah.
I won't tell you what year. He can tell you.
Well, Coach, thank you for coming down and talking with us. Good luck in your game against Crestview this week.
Thanks.
We really appreciate you coming, obviously.
we
After a
really-
couple weeks, I'm glad I
Yeah.
finally was able to get you here, Coach.
Well, it's always nice when somebody wants to give Warren JFK some press. We appreciate
Both yourself and your players.
Yes, thank you
Well
very
deserved.
much.
Thanks, Coach.
High school football is in full swing in the Mahoning Valley, so come on down to Kelly's Bar at 1597 Mahoning Avenue in Youngstown, your best place to catch all the football action. On Wednesday, $5 burgers, $6 open-faced brisket sandwiches, and $2 well drinks, plus the best high school football podcast around, Yards After Contact with Gary Houstu and Ryan Kelly, starting at 7 o'clock. On Thursday, Open Jam with Jeff Spencer from 8 to 11, and 35-cent boneless wings, $3 fireballs. On Friday, the official pre- and post-game stop for all high school football fans, fish dinners, burgers, and great happy hour specials. On Saturday, Kelly Smoker Saturdays, great Buckeye specials, 10 large flat-screen TVs, and a great spot to enjoy some Saturday college football. On Sunday, it's your NFL Sunday ticket, $5 for domestic buckets, 35-cent wings, and starting September 20th, every Tuesday night, MVP Entertainment will be here for team trivia and karaoke starting at 7 p.m. Kelly's Bar and Grill, 1597 Mahoning Avenue, Youngstown. Come for the food, stay for the fun.
And welcome back to Kelly's Bar on Mahoney Avenue in Youngstown, Ohio. I'm here with two of the Jeff Baggs standout performers for the JFK Eagles, Jacob Coates and Evan Boyd. Guys, thank you. Welcome to the show, and congratulations on the start of your excellent season so far.
Yep.
I guess maybe the best way to start, unfortunately, is you got something you're wearing here. Let's start there. Injury in week 2. Coach kind of just talked about it. Geez, go through the play. What do you remember about it first? Let's start there. And how did it feel? What do you remember most about that particular play, unfortunately?
I mean, all game I was waiting for the deep ball to come, and finally in the fourth quarter they decided to go deep. And I mean, I had it covered great. I kind of dived for it a little bit, just ended up landing right on my shoulder, and he jumped on me. And I kind of felt weird when I got up, and I knew right away. So
Did you hear anything?
I didn't hear anything.
So
no.
you didn't know?
I didn't know, so I stopped and tried to do my own.
Yeah? Then what?
I went over to the trainer, and I kind of figured it out right away.
Couldn't do anything
Yeah, I
with it?
couldn't move it up.
So you knew something was
Yeah,
not right.
it was out pretty good.
So you knew right away?
Yeah.
So what did he tell you? What did they say when they look at your shoulder like that?
I mean,
Did they say
had
close your eyes or?
No, they had to cut my jersey off, take my shoulder pads off.
Oh,
and
bummer.
She looked at it right away and she knew it was broke. So,
What were you thinking?
I mean, it was really disappointing for me coming off a hamstring injury in the spring. I I worked really hard to get back for the season, and then this just happened. So I mean, it was tough on me, but I'm just gonna use that as motivation to get back, come back at the end of the season, and hopefully playoffs. So.
How much does it change your thought process? I mean, you go from game planning and getting ready for the season. Now how different is it for you?
I mean, it's pretty different, but I just go from game planning to just being there for my teammates, supporting them, being in every practice. So that's really important to me. So.
How tough is it for you? I mean,
It's pretty tough.
Gerard was a tough week
being there
and a tough game.
Yeah, being there on game day and seeing all the guys getting exciting. I mean, it's really disappointing, but you just gotta stay strong through the process, really.
What was your role?
Pep them up, give them some talk. If some kids are doing something wrong, just give them a little detail what to do. And that's all I could do, really.
How did it feel? I mean, did you feel out of place? Did you feel a part of it? What does it feel like?
I'm still part of it. I mean, I know I'm not on the field making plays and stuff, and I'm still there rooting the team on. So it's a little different, but I'm getting through it.
Do you see yourself out on the field even, and you go, geez, oh man.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it still kind of brings me down, but I'm just trying to stay positive, really.
And Gerard had a pretty good quarterback. You might have a little fun in that
Marky
game.
Wade, yeah, he's a great quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I was defending his passes, but
Sure. Now, week 4 here is a tough ball game. Let's just talk about Crestview. I mean, forget about not playing. What does the Crestview game mean to JFK and you guys?
Well, last year was our first year playing them, so we didn't really know much about them. But it was a hard-fought game last year, and we're just out for revenge this year.
What kind of approach are you going to take as far as week of practice? I mean, what have you learned that you can incorporate now?
We actually watched some film on our game last year just to make up for our mistakes, and so we don't make them twice this year. So that's really what we're kind of focusing around.
Do they seem pretty talented from what you saw so far?
Yeah, they're definitely still talented, tough guy. They got a big front, and it's gonna be a challenge. It'll be a game.
Great. Evan, well, congratulations on your season too so far. You had to maybe pick up a little bit of the load last week, yeah?
Yeah, a little bit without Jake being there, so we have a lot of guys coming in and filling new positions. But yeah, I guess you could say I had to pick up a lot more than what we'd usually have.
25 carries or so?
22, I think.
22?
But with Jake not being there, it's not a very good. I don't know. It's a big miss.
What does it mean to you as not forget about football, as a friend? I mean, how disappointing is it for you?
Being in his shoes, like that's a very hard thing to go through with an injury like that, and knowing you're going to miss that many games, especially your senior year. That's not very fun. So as a friend, it's tough knowing that he's not going to be with me on the field the senior year. But we're just working hard as his whole team, coming together, making sure that we're going to make it to playoffs, and make sure he's going to be there so we can get him in the playoffs and finish a good season this senior year.
So that's kind of your duty now to make sure he can
It
play
is.
again,
Yes.
one way or another, right? Did you have anything to say to him before the game? Was there any communication last week?
I mean, I told him we're gonna play hard for him, and then after the game, when we got that win, I made sure I came up to him and made sure this is for you, and it'll probably continue to be like that after every game. We keep moving on.
Still make him feel like he's right there with you,
Yeah,
part of the
he
team.
is right there with us.
Great.
So,
How's your season coming individually for you?
I mean, it's great. I can't do anything without my linemen. All the linemen, the whole front, they're great blockers. They can. We got a decent amount. We're not so big up front, but the heart just gives it twice as much as our opponents. So we got our guys will for sure. I know they'll block for me.
Well, now you're a pretty good defensive player as well. First of all, what do you prefer? Offense, defense?
I like defense. I'd
Yeah.
say better. I like the contact. So making plays, making tackles, wanting to hit people. It's my favorite part of the game.
Sure. Now, Coach said two different positions, safety and linebacker. Is it just depends what defense you're in, or?
No, I started last season. I had the first game, actually first 2 games, South Range and then LeBray. I was back at safety, and then we had some injuries, sickness, so we had to move around. I got moved to linebacker for the rest of the year, and then this season I was back at safety starting in the summer, and our first 2 scrimmages I was at safety, and then we had some more injuries again happening this year. I had to move some more guys around, so had to put me back at linebacker. So I just know wherever they put me, I got to do my job and make tackles, make plays.
Does he impact the team more? Do you feel it on offense or defense from your last week? What would you say? Was there a bigger impact of him not being there?
Both ways for sure. If you saw Gerard, we had a couple big plays that we got beat on, and I feel that Jacob Coates wouldn't allow that. But offense and defense, he's a big part of our team, and special teams, especially special teams with punt returning, because we know he's a threat around here, so he could do a lot of damage.
Now, a little bit about your story. You transferred to Kennedy after your sophomore year? Or?
Yeah, I grew up in Austintown until like around 7th grade. Then I moved to South Carolina, Myrtle Beach area, and I played there 8th, 9th, and 10th grade. And then I decided to move back with my family back here to finish 11th and 12th grade here.
Did you, Kennedy, how did that come about? Was it just the team closest? Was there any connection there for you?
My dad, he knew a couple of the coaches from Kennedy, and Coach Pro and Coach Begg. He talked to them a little bit, and so they managed to find a way here for me.
So it worked out good for you, and great career so far.
I love it.
Good decision,
yeah,
right?
It is a very good decision.
Jacob, you got some. You're a track and football guy, and you played basketball. You said too.
Yes, sir.
Do you ever prefer any sport before moving?
Football.
Football, obviously.
Yeah.
Basketball is just something to keep in shape and
Yep.
have fun.
Yep.
Now you're a two-sport guy too.
Yes, sir.
What do you love football? But
I love football, but I love track too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I remember last spring you weren't out there when it came time for regionals and state.
Yeah, indoor season, I had a pretty good season.
Yeah.
Ended up 5th in the nation at New Balance Nationals. And on the finals in the 60, I pulled my hamstring real bad, so I was kind of battling back from that. And then I tried to come back early in the spring, and it just popped again. So I just kind of called it quits and just decided to get ready for football season.
So you have unfinished business to do here, both football and
But,
track.
yeah, it's a big year for me. So
So a little motivation now. Get healthy while you can, while you're injured.
yeah, that's what my goal is.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Keep stretching and all
Yeah.
that. What do you? I mean, tell us about track. I know speed is a big part of your game,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Football and track. What have you done in track of note that would just?
Sophomore
100
year,
yeah.
we won state title. Me and my buddy Chad, that's at YSU now.
Yeah.
I won the 200 meters, and I got second in the 100 meter behind him. So it was a good year, sophomore year. I looked to bounce back, but I couldn't last year. So
That's a good kind of thing to work with a guy like Chad and
yeah. It was
his brother even, right? Was
yeah,
a little older.
They're both at YSU.
Were you on? Was he on
Yeah, I
that
ran
team?
with him too.
Both, yeah, the relay.
Yeah, they're good guys around, but they
Yeah.
definitely push you. They made me faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, speed in football, just as important to you.